What's going on, everybody? This is Brian Mazik, aka Unique Mazik, the hardest working man in sports and gaming. I'm going to talk to my fellow Bulls fans today, and I'm going to tell you something that may be hard for you to grasp because you have been programmed and conditioned to root against LeBron James at all costs. LeBron James could be playing against Donald Trump, Adolf Hitler, Mussolini, Attila the Hun, and Jeffrey Dahmer. And I think some of y'all would hope Jeffrey Dahmer starts knocking down a corner jump shot. I think that's how deep the hate is for LeBron sometimes in Chicago. But I'm going to tell y'all something right now. For the good of the future of the franchise, I'm talking about the Chicago Bulls. Bulls fans need to be rooting for LeBron James to win the championship this year. And you might be saying, why in the world would I root for LeBron James to win the championship? Now, I'm put it like this. I'm not a LeBron hater. I love LeBron. LeBron's my second favorite player in the league right now. My first favorite player is Derrick Rose. We're going to ride out on that Chicago side forever. So I don't hate LeBron, but I realize a lot of y'all do. And here's why you should be rooting for LeBron and the Lakers to win. I truly believe that there is a desire for Anthony Davis, within Anthony Davis, to come and play in his hometown. I think that there is something there for him. I think he knows that it's a relatively open market for a absolute superstar. I mean, Zach LaVine's not a superstar. We all know that. Larry Markkanen not a superstar. Bulls don't have one right now, you know. Kobe White's had a really strong, nice start to his rookie season, but I don't think anybody thinks he's a superstar. A true superstar, there's an opening for it. And I think that Anthony Davis is intrigued. He talks about it too much for him not to be somewhat intrigued about coming back home. But right now, the climate, the sitting, and when I say climate, I'm not talking about the cold. He knows how cold it is here. He grew up here. I'm talking about the overall feel of what's going on. It just isn't quite right for him to make such a decision. But what I think could make him more open to simply following his heart and making an absolute pure business decision is if he gets a ring in LA. So, you know, he's going to be a free agent this summer. He can do whatever he wants to do. For all intent and purpose, it would seem that LA might be someplace he might really want to stay. And I would understand that. I think everybody would understand that. But I also think that if he wins a championship with the Lakers this year, he will have accomplished the single biggest thing for him from a professional basketball standpoint. The legacy thing that he'd be looking for would pretty much kind of be already wrapped up, and it'd be wrapped up at a good time for him from an overall career standpoint, right? He will have gotten this out of the way. A lot of people chase that title for years and years and years. And you got to remember, Anthony Davis is only 26. He won't be 27 until March, right? So this is what you're looking at right now is considered the prime of his career. Yes, he's had some injuries, a lot of them, and that's definitely worrisome. But I still think he's in the prime of his career. And as you look at him on a day-to-day basis, you see he's still, you know, just an absolute monster. Watching him play with the Lakers all the time, you can see it. The Bulls' problem, the Bulls have never been able to build a team through free agency. Just never. It's never been something that they've ever been able to. Every time the Bulls have been good, if you look back over the last 25, 30 years, the majority of the pieces have come through the draft or a trade. Michael Jordan was drafted. Scottie Pippen was a draft day trade. Horace Grant was drafted. B.J. Armstrong was drafted. Tony Kukoc was drafted. You know, I think Ron Harper might have been I'd have to check, might have been a free agent, kind of a under the radar type of a free agent pick. I think Luke Longley might have been the same thing. Bill Cartwright was a trade. Dennis Rodman was a trade. A lot of people don't realize that he was traded to the Spurs for Will Perdue. Derrick Rose was drafted. Luol Deng was drafted. Joakim Noah was drafted. Kirk Heinrich was drafted. Just look, every time they've ever been good, look at the core. And, you know, I think right now the biggest free agent signings in Bulls history is Carlos Boozer, Pau Gasol, and Ben Wallace. So there you go. You know, they haven't been able to do that. They haven't been able to do it. So in order for the Bulls to get over this hump and to get a guy that kind of changes the way the fortunes work for them from a free agent standpoint, they need a little bit of a head start. And I don't know if there's a better head start than being the hometown team for a player, right? Anthony Davis may be at a place where you could convince him to come back home and get the same kind of love that Derrick got when Derrick was here. As a matter of fact, he mentioned Derrick Rose as a mentor for him when he was coming up. All Chicago basketball players, if you listen to them, Jabari Parker, Anthony Davis, Kendrick Nunn, all of those guys, most of those guys hold Derrick in the absolute highest regard. He's a superhero to them. And so a lot of people who are not from Chicago, they don't get it. They don't understand. But Derrick is like a superhero to these guys. And Anthony Davis still holds him in very high regard. Derrick Rose wants to come back to Chicago. He said, hey, it's up to Jerry and those guys, but I'm sure he would not mind finishing his career or playing some portion of this second half of his career here. There is a way to sweeten an offer to Anthony Davis on the free agent side. The Bulls sign Derrick Rose and get Derrick Rose to try to talk to Anthony Davis to come back to Chicago. If Davis and the Lakers have already won a championship, it's very possible. I think it's something that's very possible. And you know what? Even if it isn't, even if it doesn't happen, right? This is still a smart approach to trying to recruit Anthony Davis to Chicago. It doesn't set your franchise back at all by going this route. Derrick Rose can absolutely help the Bulls as a sixth man coming off the bench. He can absolutely help the Bulls. I believe that it's time to make some moves in that starting lineup, and I'm going to do a separate video about what I think needs to be done with the Bulls. There's a drastic measure that needs to be taken with Chicago and with the Chicago Bulls roster, a very drastic measure, and some of y'all may not be on board, but I'm going to let it out. But I wanted to talk about this one first. Bulls fans, we need to be rooting for the Lakers. We need to be rooting for the Lakers with an eye on the future. The Bulls are to have any chance of getting a game-changing superstar to come to their franchise via a free agency. They need a head start. That head start is the geographical connection, the hometown discount, hometown setup sort of a thing with Anthony Davis. And he could change everything for the Bulls. He could draw and attract other players. You want to talk about the Bulls being a new, a ticket to a Bulls game is already a tough thing to come by, but it would be a new buzz in the town if Derrick Rose and Anthony Davis are leading a charge with whatever's left of this core that they're building right now. I would love to see it. I think it's something very interesting to ponder. But I want to hear what you guys have to say in the comment section. Let me know what you think about this concept. Do you agree? Can you bring it upon yourself to root for LeBron James? Do you hate him that much? I sure don't, but I want to hear what you guys say. As always, I appreciate you watching. God bless and peace.
Pocket, I'll be weak. I'm rather unique.